Welcome everyone. I'm really happy to open our Shaping Software Outsourcing for Startups Summit, and it actually, I don't know, it became almost a tradition for us, for our company. This is already a fifth summit that our company is organizing in pretty, relatively short period of time, just a bit under a year. So we're on a good roll. There is definitely an interest, and we'll continue doing this. So just a couple of words about myself. So my name is Andrei Kasyanau. I'm a CEO of Glorium Technologies. So Glorium Technologies is the company that's organizing this summit. And we at Glorium, actually, it is our core business to do the outsource software development. We have been doing it for over 12 years by now, and almost 12 years by now. And we have earned quite enough trust and respect from our customers, and we have been included into the list of Inc. 5000 for like three years in a row, which is a big achievement. That's the list of the fastest growing companies in North America. And basically just proves that we have been able to succeed in the area of the outsourced software development. And that's pretty much one of the reasons why we're organizing the event on this topic. And so we have been quite long in this industry, and we have been helping startups to develop and improve their products. And our core focus actually for our business is the startups. So we are trying to narrow down our focus on the niche and help the startups to develop and improve their products. And another reason also why we organized this summit is the economic downturn that has recently happened. And we thought that it brings additional challenges for the startups, and we can talk about outsourcing as one of the creative ways to battle those challenges, to stay afloat, and maybe one of the creative ways to restructure or pivot whatever you currently need or whatever you currently do, right? So obviously there are many other conferences around discussing software development and outsourcing, and there are many of them. But what we try to do, we don't want to be very theoretical. We want to bring the practical information over here. And we invite the speakers who have practical and personal experience in this field, who have done their own mistakes, and they can share the information and their learned the experience that they have learned from their engagement in outsourcing. And this is basically, we are expecting a very down to earth and practical solutions and advices that they can share with our audience. Okay, so, and also another thing is that many of other conferences, they are that are very broad. We want to focus everything on the startups, on the tech startups, so which will bring much more value to our audience than talking on this topic about all of the broad applications of outsourcing. So now also setting the stage for the summit, what I want to do, I want to mention a couple of things that actually are shaping the startup world right now, and that directly affect the software development teams right now at this very moment. I mentioned already those things during our previous summit. It was a startup growth summit, but I think that right now it makes sense to repeat some of those points over here as well, because they are quite important in order to understand where we at right now, what is happening with the startup world, and what is needed right now in this area, just to kind of what precedes all of those advices and information that are going to be given by our speakers. So let me start by number one, which is quite obvious, It's the record funding rounds actually that happened during the last year in 2021. According to the Crunchbase, actually over the course of 12 months in 2021, investors put roughly $330 billion into startup investments across all stages. And this is what's important to understand. This is the money that are being used right now at this very moment by majority of startups in order to build and grow their products. So never before in history, actually, we saw such a massive investment into the new technologies. And of course, investors have very high expectations after deploying so much of their funds, of their money. So we'll definitely see certain pressure for the software development teams because of that. And I have to mention that after the heated 2021, we see a cool down 2022. The inflation is skyrocketing, the financial markets are down, Nasdaq itself is down 30% from the beginning of the year, with 5% falling down just from yesterday. We'll see where the trading goes today, but I mean, this is quite important and interesting news that we're seeing. Of course, it was showing certain signs of growth before, but still, we also see the startup valuations going down. The funding has slowed down. In Europe alone, the funding is actually down almost twice. And VCs issue the dire warnings to its founders to save the money and slow down the growth by prioritizing the cash reserves to survive the potential prolonged market meltdown, potentially. But at the same time, interestingly, the VCs don't have absolutely any trouble raising money for their funds from private investors. According to some of the reports, the cash reserves for VCs are at the historically high levels at the moment. So basically, they have the money, but they're not deploying them right now. They're waiting and they're using them only making the targeted investments. This is quite interesting. But nevertheless, the global technology spend is projected to grow. Rates of inflation and geopolitical disruption and talent shortages, they're not expected to slow the IT investments. Worldwide IT spending is projected to total $4.4 trillion in 2022, and which is an increase of 4% from 2021, according to the latest forecast by Gartner. And the software spending out of this is expected to grow 9.8% to 675 billion in 2022. And IT services is forecasted to grow 6.8% to reach 1.3 trillion. What's more, the numbers for 2023 are expected to be even higher. All of this actually points out that there is indeed a room for doing business and building new products, releasing new technology for the tech startups. So the market is there ready to consume whatever startups have in their pockets. And the number 5 that I want to mention, the last one, the point is that easing conditions with a labor shortage, which was especially felt in the tech industry. So finding the top talent still remains one of the biggest problems faced by the tech startups, but overall the conditions have improved. Everyone, of course, heard about the recent tech layoffs, but the scale of those tech layoffs are not, is not that critical. It's not that much. The situation has definitely improved in the job market. It has eased a little bit, so not everyone is going totally crazy about finding the new talent, but situation is not basically, it has definitely improved in this respect. So to sum up, like all of this, taking it all together, the startups actually find themselves in the market where they get squeezed between the investors with high expectations, increased business and management pressure to demonstrate the efficiency and output, and of course in worsening market conditions, but still money are being potentially available for the best of those, right? So quite a challenging to be here in this market, quite a challenge to navigate this environment, but it is what it is. So this is where currently the startups are, and again, this is my view, my analysis on the market. You may find maybe a lot of different opinions and overviews from different sources. So now you would ask, what does it have to do with outsourcing, right? And in my view, it's simple. Many startups consider the outsourcing as a powerful tool to boost their performance or to meet the deadlines, or even to help them to pivot their products or their businesses. And right now, in the current situation, for many of the CTOs and CEOs of startups who didn't use the outsourcing much or didn't use it at all before, it may be a viable solution to rebuild their roadmap, to review their current activities, restructure their teams, and do whatever they need to do in order to navigate their current market conditions, in order to not only stay afloat, but to excel in what they do, right? So, and it's no doubt that outsourcing is an effective tool, and it grew from something like very exotic in the beginning of 2000 to a complete norm today. And especially it was fueled by the fully remote setup that was forced by a pandemic. So, but still, I should say, as a side note, if you talk to different people about outsourcing, if you do the search, try to see what's going on there and get some information, you'll hear a lot of many horror stories, I would say, that people tell about outsourcing, how their experience went, very bad with outsourcing, how they burnt the money without almost any outcome. And I would say it is always related to certain mistakes that that people make when outsourcing. From my personal experience and from the experience of the company that I run, from Glorium Technologies perspective, I should say we met quite a lot of customers and the clients who told us those stories, and I don't know, I wouldn't throw the number, but I would say anywhere between 5 and 10 clients we have onboarded that have migrated from other vendors to us, and with the complaints that their business, their outsourcing didn't go well, and they basically previously failed, and they were very hesitant on onboarding a new vendor, but still it went well. So I'm just saying that there are always mistakes. Like sometimes there was dire mistakes that people do when they make outsourcing, and this is what we want to talk about today. A lot of do's and don'ts in outsourcing, to share the experience, so that you guys do not make the same mistakes. Not only you don't make same mistakes, but you do things properly so that you excel in this, and use this tool properly, so that it really helps you to grow your business, to grow your product, and get you to the top of the market, right? So this is the expectation from the summit. So we do expect from our speakers to hear what startup players really need. So no generic topics, no high-level issues, like something very specific to the outsourcing and to for the startups, and focus on the challenges that are being relevant for the startup software development outsourcing at this very moment of time. So experience basically from the trenches. This is what we want to hear, and the list of topics quite broad, I would say, and you should hear about how to properly make a decision whether to outsource or to not outsource, the tips on choosing a vendor, or how to properly start the process on board the new vendor, how to properly scale up by using outsourcing, the issues with communication and management of the outsourced team, how to be agile with outsourcing, the models of the tech development, its pros and cons, the tech outsourcing in different industries, and so on and so forth. So I'm very excited to hear all of that, and I hope it will all bring the positive, not positive, helpful information for all of our listeners and for all of the attendees of our Startup Summit. And it's all absolutely free, right? So sit back, listen, and enjoy. And don't forget to share with your friends and your coworkers, right? So really hope that our wonderful speakers will be able to share their valuable experience. And I'm excited to hear what they have prepared. All right, so let's begin. Over to you, Javi.
Hey guys, thank you, Andrei. Appreciate your time and obviously what y'all are doing, putting these events on for the founders and all the people that are joining y'all's community every day. So I mean, I've gotten so much knowledge the past. I mean, this is our fifth or sixth event together now.
Fifth.
Yeah, that's it's really interesting, obviously how this all came together. So I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to meet you and your team and just kind of learn a little bit more about what y'all are doing, how y'all are helping startups. It's really unique. And especially as we go through these tough times, right? I mean, like these are like, I like to say, diamonds are made under pressure, right? But a lot of businesses will have obstacles that we'll have to overcome, many that will be first time. And now more than ever, do we need to work together, collaborate, communicate, and having a system, a process that can be, automated and scale in a very process-driven way could really help, a lot. I know I've had a fair share of nightmare stories with outsourcing. So
yeah, necessary. I specifically try to talk about it. I don't know, always. It's just, something happens to someone. But again, this is the reason for that is the mistakes that people are making, of course. So we really hope, as you said, at this difficult time to give all this proper information, helpful information to all of the attendees in order for them to use this tool wisely and properly so that it helps them in growing their business. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think, don't want to cut you off early, but, I think our first or our second speakers here ready to join us. So Andrei, I know you're going to be coming back at the end of the day. So I'll be excited to see you here this afternoon. We'll get this show started and just kind of, make it a very impactful and fun educational event for everyone, right?
Yep. Thank you, Javi.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks. Too.